Why not try something smart to chew on? The Lunchroom on RCI, Monday to Friday, 12:45 to 2 p.m. The Lunchroom. Informative, enlightening, provocative, engaging. The Lunchroom on RCI. Food for thought. The station that gives you, more lunch.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. And of course, today is Thursday, the 4th of September 2025, and we're on to program number 1444 of the Lunchroom. I'm your host, Calix George Jr. You can get us, of course, on our 101.1 FM radio. And if you are also using your laptop or you're online, you can get us at our website, rcistlucia.com. And we are also streaming live on the official page of Radio Caribbean International on Facebook. You just have to like and share that link, please, with your friends and family. Now, of course, in a little bit, you'll be able to call in to tell us what's on your plate today. And the number to do so is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. We also can be reached on our WhatsApp number. That is 724-0008. Again, 724-0008. In a bit, we're going to try to touch base with our friends at Republic Bank for the Republic Corner for this week. And we are looking at the Make It Happen loan today, and hopefully we can touch base with them. Of course, last night was a stunning victory by the Kings, St. Lucia Kings, and we also want to touch in during the program with Dr. Reds Pereira, who will tell us his thoughts about that event and, of course, where that places the Kings moving forward in the Caribbean Premier League. And of course, it was also election day in Jamaica yesterday. We'll of course be speaking about that in a bit as well. A look back in time on this day. Well, in the year 1781, Los Angeles was founded by 44 Spanish-speaking mestizos in the Bahia de las Fumas, or the Bay of Smokes. It happened in 1781. In the year 1957, on this day, the governor of Arkansas, Orval Faubus, called out the National Guard to prevent 9 black students from entering Little Rock Central High School. We now move on to our dish of the day.
Every bed in our hospitals tells a story of someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's friend. And when that story of care is complete, it's time for the next chapter, home. But too often, discharged patients are left waiting hours, days, weeks, sometimes months, not because they want to stay, but because no one comes. We understand life gets busy, but every extra day they wait means another patient, perhaps in pain, perhaps in crisis, can't get the bed they desperately need. So when the call comes that your loved one is ready, please be ready too. Pick them up, bring them back to the comfort of family, where healing truly continues. Because caring doesn't end at discharge, it continues with you. A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to our program. And of course, it's been a very exciting past couple of weeks, especially if you are a St. Lucia Kings fan. And we have been seeing quite a lot of exciting cricket, certainly right here in St. Lucia. 5 matches on home territory, which certainly generally went well for the Kings, putting them in a pretty good standing, leaving St. Lucia with 10 points. They were, however, of course, disappointed of the defeat on their first night on the Saturday, where they came up against the Trinidad Knight Riders, and they unfortunately were not able to beat them, and they were able to get some revenge, I suppose you could say, playing in Trinidadian territory over at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, Taruba, and they were able to defeat them in fine style to put themselves right at the top of the table. Now, to tell us about their thoughts on this matter, I'm so very pleased that we have Mr. Dr. Joseph Reds Pereira with us on air. How are you doing, sir?
Well, recovering from last night because it was a bit of a late night. Cricket goes on for much longer, you feel.
Right.
But it was a magnificent performance by the defending champions. I mean, to beat Trinidad.
In Trinidad?
Not just beat Trinidad, but beat Trinidad that badly. I mean, it was great execution. They hardly did anything wrong. Maybe Johnson Charles threw away his wicket.
Yeah, he went out for one.
Simply stayed with C4 to knock it around. Again, we saw Greece playing a very matured knock at number 3. But the first surprise to me was that the first surprise to me that Darren Bravo was in and not Carty. And they seemed to be ultra attacking and never changed the attack, and they kept losing wickets, looking for attacking shots against Sabsi. And, it was a very strange performance by a team that maybe is aging. I think we'll probably see a couple of changes next year. But it's good now that the Kings don't have to be looking for points in Guyana to qualify.
Right. Well, they're at the top of the standings right now. They're on the leaderboard. They are the leaders on the board. With 12 points, tied with the Kings with 12 points, but certainly thanks to that smashing defeat yesterday, their run rate is the highest.
You see, they got the runs using up very few overs.
They won in the 12th over, was it?
Yes.
Wow.
So they handled it well. Sometimes, a small score can make you struggle. Well, that didn't happen at all. But I did an interview with Sam C before he left.
Right.
I just felt that he would have been key.
Right.
I sent you a copy of it, and if time allows, you might like to play a little bit of it. It was an amazing story. When I first spoke to him, I said, "Did you start as a left-arm spinner?" He says, "No, I started as a young man as a left-arm fast bowler."
Is that so?
Yeah,
wow.
But the coaches then told me I wasn't gonna cut it. I will never be quick enough to worry batsmen, and I didn't have the natural swing as left-handers. So I said, "Well, did you change to left-arm orthodox?" He said, "No. I use almost my same run, but I changed to bowling left arm back of the arm." And I asked him which was his best bowl for the season, and he said that it was a game they lost at the TKR. He said he felt that he really enjoyed that. It was challenging, and he thought that he was under a lot of pressure, and he managed to control the aggression. A very interesting interview because he said that his impact here may have a bearing of him getting back into the South African team.
Okay.
Because there are two World Cups coming up and not too far away.
Yeah.
And he obviously, I would think that South Africans are watching, and the reports are all over the place. It's on ESPN, it's on Cricket Info. So I think he is doing his CPL um, chances, no harm.
Yeah, well, he definitely whatever he did in the nets in terms of practicing certainly helped him out in terms of training, and he became the man of the match yesterday.
Yes,
Really vital wickets being taken out there.
and remember his first game was not a good game, and he said he couldn't wait for the next game to come because he really wanted to perform well again, and his confidence, build his confidence. Really enjoying, really enjoying his cricket. But defending champions already qualifying. I mean, it was a great night for the King. Very great night. And
the consistency and contribution of Tim Seifert, he certainly has had a pretty consistent set of games, and of course he's I think the highest scorer right now in the tournament.
Yes, well, I mean that 125 was quite a display. And last night, when you're chasing a small score,
yeah,
you really want to come off the blocks early, and he really took on that role, and there was no real pressure. I mean, just the loss of Johnson, and then it was very smooth sailing after that. So on to Guyana, and you have an opportunity to play your bench if you want to rest someone. We don't know if Matthew Ford is going to be fit enough to join the squad. When I say join the squad, he's in the squad, but whether he'll be fit enough to, as they say in modern parlance, to suit up is a different thing. But they just might they have the opportunity of making a few changes if they want, but I don't see them making many, because winning is a good habit.
Right.
Winning is a very good habit, and it sets up an expectation for St. Lucians.
Well, certainly a major boost of confidence, that defeat of Trinidad last night, and the way it was done. I mean, a significant victory is really going to have a lot of confidence boosting impact, in my view, heading into Guyana, whom they of course have already defeated pretty convincingly right here in St. Lucia.
Yes, Guyana's got their work cut out, because they won the first two and lost the last two. So they will want to make sure that playing at home and hosting at home, they qualify. They play tonight against the Royals in Kensington, and they're looking for a good performance. But they've had trouble with the opening partnership, and the middle order has been carrying the weight all the time. They really need Sharma Joseph to take wickets at the top, and shepherd a good all-round game. And Samsi, to hear the captain, who I think is the leading wicket taken now, or just by one, he needs a good performance. He was a bit expensive in the last game. So it's maybe TKR, the Kings are true. As you said, the Kings are leading. Maybe we'll see Amazon Warriors and Royals making the last four. And when I say it sets up the nation, because in a matter of a few days, the World Championships are on. And if we had good viewing last night, I think we'll have greater numbers watching the World Championships
Tokyo, yeah. And of course we've got Julian Alfred representing, as well as Miss Lawrenson.
Yes, a young hurdler. I don't know her background, but she obviously has done reasonably good times. Sure, to be selected, it's going to be a good opportunity for her. Confidence and running against other people, seeing other people run, and a very good opportunity. It's a pretty. We don't have a male sprinter or a male field event, and it's something I feel that the Athletic Association needs to invest in. Some countries, what they do is have a shot put fair where everyone can turn up and, so to speak, have a go. And it's amazing how you can develop talent like that. A shot put fair, no injury. I mean, it's not like you're having a long jump fair where there could be maybe an injury factor, but a shot put, and they are smaller shots than the heavy shots. So you can have a safety value there, and the same thing could be done with the discus. You have an open fair, everyone can turn up. Your son could turn up and have a try, and this is where the talent comes in. The Jamaicans have done this very well.
Pretty interesting ideas there. But Reds, unfortunately, we're going to have to end it because we actually do have a sponsored section which is actually awaiting for us.
I understand. Let me invite the nation to watch Pereira and Company tonight on 117, and you will see an amazing development in really exposing golf to the ordinary boy and the ordinary girl, and not affiliated as it used to be with maybe the people in the greater economical bracket.
Indeed, and hopefully maybe we can talk about that tomorrow if you have got some time, because that certainly is a really important matter. Right. And I also want to discuss to you tomorrow about the return of the Talawas. That should be very interesting as well.
Yes, and by the way, Wavell Hines, the West Indies batsman, won his parliament seat, but he'll be in the opposition.
All right. Thanks for those updates. Of course, as always, the ever well-informed and the great Reds Pereira. Thanks so very much for sharing with us. And of course, touching on the victory of the Kings, but also looking out for the weekend with Julian Alfred over in Tokyo, representing us there at the World Championships. Thanks so very much, Reds. Have a good one.
My pleasure.
Now we're going to switch gears a little bit because we actually do have our Republic Corner. It was originally supposed to be yesterday, but we've got to change it over to today. And I think we've got on air with us. Is it Petra? Hi, how are you doing? Very good, thank you very much. And of course, Petra Jalouis, Personal Banking Officer at Republic Bank St. Lucia, is here to tell us in the Republic Corner about the power to make it happen. Wonderful. Now, of course, we've spoken about a number of events that are happening in terms of Republic Bank, and of course, we were just speaking about CPL cricket with Reds Pereira. The lead sponsor, title sponsor for CPL cricket is none other than Republic Bank, and it's always good to see them out there. And of course, Republic has the right colors as well, whether by fate or not. Sporting St. Lucia Kings colors, but I know that was obviously something you can't control. But of course, the whole matter of banking is really important. Making informed decisions, the need to be financially literate. It's all really, really important to be able to ensure that we can manage financially in the world that we are in. So, Petra, when it comes to borrowing money, many people are unsure of how to begin, where to begin. How can Republic Bank help customers understand if a loan is right for them? Okay, so what should customers consider before applying for a personal loan or a home loan? What are the considerations that they should really have? Now, we hear quite a lot about the matter of debt consolidation as a concept. Can this campaign help people who want to consolidate or manage their existing debts better? Now, we heard a lot in the United States and in places the whole issue about your credit score. I'm not sure that we have that set up. I know there's been discussions about a credit bureau here in St. Lucia, but what role does credit history play when applying for a loan, and especially if you're young and you're a first-time borrower? Okay, so that's certainly very good. Now, how does a Home Plus under the Pick Your Rate campaign support long-term wealth building? Now, of course, with all that you've said and considering all that's going on, VAT-free stuff on a lot of building materials, this wonderful opportunity in terms of reduced interest rates, it really does sound like a really good time to make an investment, whether it's in a home, in yourself, through education. How is somebody who's ready to borrow move forward? Where do they begin? What are the next steps? Wow, there are only about less than 2 weeks to go before that deadline of September the 15th. And Petra, you've shared so much in terms of the insights as to how Republic Bank is doing more than just lending. In fact, helping persons in terms of their financial literacy and making better financial choices. So we really, really want to thank you for this opportunity. And I don't know if you've got any parting comments, any final comments from you. Wonderful, and it's a really, really good opportunity, no doubt about it, and a great place to start, of course. republicbankec.com. Check them out online, and of course, as Petra said, you can always walk in to get some greater assistance as well. And of course, it is important to know exactly what you're getting into. Financial literacy is vitally important, and we're so very glad that Republic Bank is putting the emphasis on this entire matter. And I think we're going to continue that conversation next week, in fact, with another bit of financial literacy for listeners out there. Thank you so very much, Petra Jean-Louis, Personal Banking Officer at Republic Bank EC Limited. Indeed, it was a pleasure. Now, of course, we are going to head across to take in our weather report at this time.
This has been The Daily Dish.
Every bed in our hospitals tells a story of someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's friend. And when that story of care is complete, it's time for the next chapter, home. But too often, discharged patients are left waiting hours, days, weeks, sometimes months, not because they want to stay, but because no one comes. We understand life gets busy, but every extra day they wait means another patient, perhaps in pain, perhaps in crisis, can't get the bed they desperately need. So when the call comes that your loved one is ready, please be ready too. Pick them up, bring them back to the comfort of family, where healing truly continues. Because caring doesn't end at discharge, it continues with you. A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs.
It's now time for your weather report, brought to you by Island Style.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home.
Really?
Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with these tile stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up.
What are you looking for?
Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle dazzle.
Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, they're my #1 store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous tiles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for.
That sounds perfect.
I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation.
I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and View Fort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And the forecast for St. Lucia Valley for the next 24 hours. Winds will be blowing from between the east and the south and southeast near 18 miles per hour or 30 kilometers per hour. Weather Partly cloudy, becoming cloudy at times with some scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. The forecast for the Lesser Antilles: partly cloudy to occasional cloudy skies with some scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. The tropical weather outlook: a weak tropical wave will generate some cloudy periods with some scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms over the Lesser Antilles during the next 24 hours. Another tropical wave located over the eastern tropical Atlantic is moving slowly westward near 9 miles per hour or 15 kilometers per hour. Gradual development of this system is expected over the next few days. The tropical high pressure system will maintain light to moderate easterly winds across the eastern Caribbean region during the next few days. And that was your weather report, brought to you by Island Style.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home.
Really?
Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with the style stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up.
What are you looking for?
Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle dazzle.
Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, they're my number one store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous styles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for.
That sounds perfect.
I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation.
I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and View Fort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
And welcome back to the lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. Now, of course, the number to call and tell us what's on your plate today, it is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. And you also have the option of WhatsApp. That number is 724-0008. Of course, as mentioned, over in Jamaica, we're seeing Andrew Holness making history by becoming, I think, for the first time, I think, a party going in and holding on to 3 consecutive terms, a victory for him. He made history back in, I think, in the year 2011, when he, in fact, became the youngest person ever to be Prime Minister of Jamaica. And in 2016, he was actually elected to be Prime Minister. And of course, he became the youngest person ever to be elected at the age of 43. And he is also the first Prime Minister to have been born after Jamaica gained independence in 1962. So certainly he seems to be continuing to make history in that matter, and he's been able to lead the Jamaica Labour Party to another victory in the 2025 poll. 32 was the magic number required for a majority in the Jamaica House of Representatives. 63 seats were up for grabs, and the JLP was in fact going in with a very significant majority of 49 seats. They were able to, in fact, win about 57% of the seats in the last general election. This time, however, a significant slide in the overall number of seats won by the Jamaica Labour Party, bringing them down to 34 seats. So they saw which effectively meant a 15-seat gain for Mr. Mark Golding's People's National Party, the PNP. And of course, heading into the polls, it was neck and neck. Some of the polls, in fact, showed leads in the popular support for the PNP. And in fact, it ended up at the end of the day, the JLP managing to pull off the victory there. Very, very low voter turnout, less than 40%. I think 39.43% of the over 2 million registered voters actually went out to cast a ballot. And that is certainly concerning, in any democracy that such a low turnout is being witnessed in the 30s is certainly not a good sign in terms of engagement of the population and the confidence in the democratic process. By all indications, of course, it was a free and fair election, and there were a number of observers on the ground, including from the OAS and including none other than former Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Dr. Kenny Anthony, who was leading that process over there for observing the election. But in terms of participation, it's never really a good sign if you're getting less than half of the registered number of voters actually going out and casting their votes. Of course, there were certain and clear swings, as I mentioned, across the board. And if you look, of course, Jamaica is divided into parishes, and within each parish there are a number of constituencies. In the case of Clarendon, 6 constituencies there in the parish of Clarendon, and heading in, there were in fact 5 being held by JLP representatives, and at the end of the night, there were in fact 4 being taken by PNP candidates in that parish. Clarendon, northern, southeastern, southwestern, all going to the PNP, and of course certainly showing some of the particular areas where PNP was able to pull greater support. In Hanover, that's in the western side of Jamaica, in that area there, again, a slide away from the JLP. They were going in with 2 candidates, and at the end of it, both of them went up and lost, with the PNP gaining 2 seats, the 2 Hanover seats. In the case of Kingston, they were again the 3 Kingston seats. 2 of them were held originally by JLP. At the end of the night, only one individual, Mr. Mackenzie, held on to Kingston Western. So they lost their 2. The PNP picked up an additional seat of Kingston Central away from the JLP. In Manchester, out in the west, again, it was, I think, pretty much stayed fixed in terms of Manchester going in, the results holding steady, with PNP holding its 2 and JLP holding its 2. In the case of Portland, in the east of Jamaica, southeastern Jamaica. The PNP actually gained one. Isat Buchanan pulling over with a defeat in Portland East in that constituency against Anne-Marie Vaz, who was the incumbent there. In the case of St. Andrew Parish, which of course is the Greater Kingston region, in that situation, again, a very, very mixed scenario. A number of constituencies there. It's about, I think, 12 or so constituencies in total. And pretty much no change in the electoral map across St. Andrew. Greater Kingston pretty much remained fixed. And so there was, I guess you could get a sense as to how competitive this entire matter has been. St. Anne Parish, of course, that's on the north coast, Ocho Rios, and they were, again, a similar situation as with Kingston. No changes in the in that electoral map in St. Anne. In St. Catherine, of course. That includes places like Spanish Town and Helsha. And in that instance, only one change in the electoral map. In St. Catherine Southeastern, the PNP was able to gain one seat in that situation. St. Elizabeth, a pretty rural seat in the west central Jamaica. And they pretty much almost stayed the same, but except for one victory coming out. A young lawyer, Zuleika Jess, was able to defeat the incumbent going in there and to pull another seat away from the JLP. And in the case of St. James, that's the parish within which you have Montego Bay. Interesting enough, again, there as well. It's traditionally very strong JLP territory, but Nikisha Burchell was in fact able to defeat Homer Davis in St. James Southern to pull away a victory for the PNP in that constituency. And in St. Mary, which is, again, a very rural region on the north coast of Jamaica, they saw one gain by the PNP, and that is with St. Mary Southeastern. Christopher Brown was able to swing a seat away from the JLP. St. Thomas, again, just one. It was pretty much all JLP, and they were able to win one of the two seats. The PNP was able to win one of the two seats in St. Thomas. And Trelawney and the North Coast as well, they held with the JLP. Westmoreland, also in the western end of Jamaica, outside of south of Mobay. There too, it was gains, two seats swinging to the PNP. So in fact, PNP was able to win all three seats in Westmoreland. At the end of the day, despite the PNP gains of 15 seats, they still, of course, were not able to defeat the JLP. They held on to 34 seats at the end of the night. And of course, quite often you find that it's very difficult for political parties to be able to retain a consistent position to hold power for 3 terms, and you will generally find a sliding away of support over time. But certainly the extent of the turnout being so low would certainly be a concern for any political movement going out into in Jamaica right now. But certainly, of course, congratulations are in order to Mr. Andrew Holness for being able to find the victory here for a third time for the JLP. Of course, lots of infrastructure being undertaken in Jamaica right now. I think certainly perhaps one of his hallmarks. It has been a country that has suffered from a significant infrastructural deficit for quite some time, especially in terms of the road network, especially in regards to things like water. There's been a deficit of investment over many years, and I think we saw a change happening under governments like Portia Simpson Miller and the PNP, which definitely started some major highway expansions, the likes of the on the North Coast Highway, for example, from Ocho Rios to Montego Bay, the Highway 2000 project, which was meant to connect Kingston to Mobe, and many sections of that highway being undertaken during the period of the PNP or being put into place. And of course, significant assistance coming from the Chinese, investing in some major highways across country, route from Spanish Town up to Ocho Rios was achieved. Major toll road there, 4-lane highway being built, and we've certainly seen Mr. Holness's government continuing with a substantial amount of investment in road infrastructure and improvements for the roads heading into Portland, for example, on the south coast of Jamaica. Mobe receiving for the first time a bypass road. Major investments going into that. Of course, housing has been another major area of concern. Still, of course, some levels of dissatisfaction have existed, and in areas like water, it's been a big issue in the case of providing people for water, both for domestic use as well as agricultural use as well. It's been a major issue. And so he still, of course, was able to convince the electorate that he deserved to keep Jamaica on the right path. And so, of course, also in Guyana, as we mentioned yesterday, we're still waiting to see what the final outcome is going to be in terms of seats. And I think there's supposed to be an announcement today from the Guyana Elections Commission regarding the precise number of seats that will be allocated to the respective parties. But of course, for sure, there is a victory for the PPP Civic, and Mr. Irfan Ali will be certainly very happy that he has been re-elected again as president of Guyana. Of course, all of these elections happening at a very interesting time in terms of the Caribbean and what is occurring right here within the Caribbean Sea. And of course, it is even getting the attention of the United States in a very big way because of their military presence in the Caribbean Sea. And according to Mr. Donald Trump, quote, any threat to Trinidad and Tobago or the Caribbean will be destroyed. And that was a message that came out from Mr. Trump. And it's a story being covered, of course, in the aftermath of an attack on a vessel, which was believed to have been, according to U.S. authorities, part of a narco-trafficking ring, a cartel, And that vessel, apparently, again, according to the authorities, was carrying 11 individuals, and that was effectively destroyed, killing the occupants of that vessel as it was traversing on the waters. Very, very interesting, of course, indeed, the situation there. And just to read this story coming out of Trinidad and Tobago source, it says the United States military reported a struck. The United States military reportedly struck a Venezuelan boat yesterday that was allegedly moving toward Trinidadian waters, sending a clear message to Caracas: any attempt to threaten the Caribbean will not be tolerated. U.S. President Donald Trump issued a forceful warning following the strike, emphasizing America's readiness to protect Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. Trump's statement, quote, "We are watching. We are ready. No one threatens our friends in the Caribbean. Any strike or aggressive move against Trinidad and Tobago will be met with unstoppable American power. Our naval fleets patrol the Caribbean. Our Air Force is on alert. Any aggression will be crushed before it reaches our waters. If anyone tries to create chaos or harm here, the United States will act immediately to secure safety and order. Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean will never stand alone." Message coming from Donald Trump. So, of course, this matter regarding Venezuela and the United States, a very long-standing one. And, of course, Venezuela being the country with the largest proven oil reserves, not in the Western Hemisphere, not in South America, not in the Western Hemisphere, but in fact in the world. And of course, it has been the subject of a lot of concern for some time by the United States, particularly because, of course, of the rise of the Hugo Chavez regime, followed by Nicolas Maduro. And, of course, we've seen tremendous effort by the United States by way of embargoes and financial sanctions upon Venezuela. Let's take a call in before we end the program. Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today? How are you doing, caller? Well, and some of the Air Force is not even, it's unmanned. It's, drones are being used, of course. And some, I'm sure it's a drone, certainly. And quite often, you've got a drone pilot somewhere in Nebraska in a facility and he's flying remotely. Yeah. Sorry, where do we get our gas from? As in LPG? I don't know specifically where we get it from. I think it might be Aruba. It's no longer Trinidad. So it may be some other refinery. I don't know specifically where we're getting them from. Where you're getting... Oh, you speak. Well, in St. Lucia's case, yeah, yes, yes. In St. Lucia's case, we never benefited from Petrocaribe. Jamaica did. That's correct. That is correct. I'm not sure if St. Vincent was able to also do so, but I know but Dominica was In fact, they even had to construct a small storage facility. Right, and I think by then as well, effectively, what you're right. The arrangement was that you were effectively borrowing against the value of the oil that would have been provided to you. So you were getting the oil, your petrochemical products effectively for free. Well, not for free, but on a loan basis. You were, and so that would have been able to allow you to have space for, I guess, other undertakings. That was the thinking there at a very, very low rate. I think, yes, as you said, 2% or whatnot. Through fracking, yes. Yeah, I mean, I think they were concerned about the extent of influence that Venezuela was going to have in the Caribbean. It was a similar argument as was made against China and China's rising influence around the world, with especially in Africa, where they were in fact, providing a lot of I guess you could say low concessionary loans to many countries for infrastructure. Well, that was the argument, so that the argument was that these countries were being placed into debt traps by China, and the same argument was being made against Venezuela, that this was actually a debt trap, and that these countries would not be able to, in fact, pay back these loans, and so therefore there would be some sort of quid pro quo. Yes. Yeah, so that again is and in some instances, the again depends on the nature of the arrangement. Sometimes some countries loan money, but they then end up providing debt forgiveness, or they waive the loans later on. So that's another practice that you sometimes see countries engaging in. A port, a major. Sorry, I didn't catch the last part you said. You broke up? What did you say? Caller, we're going to have to probably end the program, though, because we're already over time, though. But thanks very much for your contribution. Okay? Take care. Certainly. Have a good one. And, of course, we'll be back again not next week. We actually have one more day in the week, right? We're going to be back tomorrow for another program of the Lunchroom, God willing. Hope you can join us for that. I'm your host, Alex George Jr., saying goodbye.